Blazing speed from the starting gate on this Thursday edition of Aqueduct Insider as the sun begins to set on January 1st, 2015. No matter how many times you've been through a New Year's Day card at the Big A, it never gets old. Place was rocking, a huge crowd on track today. We're glad you're with us. Happy New Year's Day to everybody out there. Jason Blewitt, the Mig, Richard Migliore alongside our clubhouse studios. And again, some of us have been around longer than others. This is always a fun day at the track, though, right?
Well, it really is, because it feels like it's a clean slate. Everybody gets, no matter what you did last year, you got to show up and do it again this year. And it seems like there's a lot of optimism in the air, maybe to get off to a good start in the new year. And
expectations are high, not only for the product here at the Big A, and we move forward, and we'll have stakes lined up over the next few cards. We'll bring everybody the affectionately run as today's third race, which featured a two-time Grade 1 winner in Belle Gallanty in just a few moments. Got the Cappy tomorrow for three-year-old sprinters. The Jerome on Saturday as the road to the Kentucky Derby on a cold Saturday in Queens picks up. And look, you're talking about some top connections who pretty much are based throughout the year in the Big Apple. We go back to the 2014 leading contenders, or leaders, if you will, with the year over. Let's start off. We'll go jockey, trainer, owner, Javier Castellano. Favored to win his second consecutive Eclipse?
I think he's a slam dunk. I don't see how anybody else can even be in the conversation for Jockey of the Year. He's done everything right. His earnings are astronomical, $25 million, 315 wins, and he's been consistent from January 1st of 2014 till December 31st of 2014. It was all Javier Castellano.
37 years old, a native of Venezuela, arrived in this country a little over a decade ago, was riding down at Calder, started to ride a little bit for Bill Mott as we look at Javier's Travers victory aboard VE Day in the Midsummer Derby. By the way, Javier has won 4 of the Travers that have been run since Bernardini in 2006. That is a Hall of Fame number. And look, Bill Mott took notice a little over a decade ago, and he made the move to New York. He's got a great agent in his corner. Is there a weakness? Is there an area where you'd like to see Javier improve in 2015?
Not at all. Not at all. And that's his strength, the fact that he's ultra consistent and he doesn't have a chink in his armor. He's good at everything he does. There may be guys that might do something specifically a little bit better, but the fact that he does everything well.
Good attitude, too. Always seems like he's just got a good head on his shoulders, likes to ride, likes to be sort of a leader in the jockey colony, whether he's down in Florida or in the Big Apple. Do you agree?
Oh, he has a terrific attitude. And just thinking about it, he's from Venezuela. Think about some of the other riders we've seen from Venezuela, particularly Ramon Dominguez. And I think Ramon Dominguez basically led by example, and I think Javier's followed in those footsteps.
Todd Pletcher doing a lot of things well as well. Native of Texas, longtime protege to the Hall of Fame trainer D. Wayne Lucas. He has shattered one record after another. He has racked up the accolades and credentials. 6 Eclipse Awards to his name, and is he favored to win his 7th?
I hear a lot of sentiment for some other people for Eclipse Awards. If I had a vote, I would vote for Todd Pletcher. I think the $22.4 million in purses, and again, the consistency throughout the year and what he did in Saratoga, I would give it to Todd. I think there are other worthy candidates for sure, but think about, he shattered Wayne Lucas's record already.
Yeah.
Wayne Lucas is 79 years old. Todd Pletcher conceivably can train for another 30 years.
And has well over 1,000 stakes wins and counting. He hit that mark midway through the summer. One of his big horses in 2014, Powis Maus, who's winning the Metropolitan Handicap on the Belmont Stakes undercard. Guy comes at you with the numbers, has that proverbial army of 2-year-olds, 11 juvenile winners during the Saratoga meet alone. And consider Todd Pletcher hit $22.4 million in earnings, and he did it with the lackluster Breeders' Cup and really last quarter to 2014.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. And I also think people start to overlook the fact how difficult it is to have that army of 2-year-olds as prepared as they are. It doesn't happen by accident. A lot of work goes in from the time they're starting to be broken as yearlings all the way through the process, and Todd's in on that entire process. It's pretty strong.
As is Ken Ramsey, who's a hands-on owner, to say the least, a real likable guy and a good ambassador, I think, for the owner's segment of thoroughbred racing in the United States. He's got 3 Eclipse Awards to his credit, along with his wife, Sarah, and $10.5 million in purses, and another guy that really does it all, breeds them, claims them. Here's Real Solution taking the Manhattan.
I think that's what I like about him most, that he comes from every direction with horses. Horses that he breeds, horses that he claims, he buys, and his enthusiasm enthusiasm is infectious. He really, really enjoys the game, and I think, like you said, it's a great way to promote it when you see somebody like him have that much fun.
And is a big gambler, too, loves to play, loves to handicap, loves to prepare. You really get every conceivable department with Ken Ramsey, not to mention Kitten's Joy, who has developed and quite quickly into one of the preeminent sires, perhaps in the world, standing for $100,000 in 2015.
Pretty remarkable, and I think Ken Ramsey has to get all the credit for making him a stallion. He supported himself a great deal the first few years until he caught on, so I think you really got to look at how much he embraces the game on all levels.
All right, let's get it home here to the Big A. Intertrack, January 1st, 2015. The stakes begin with race 3, the 40th running of the affectionately and track announcer John Embriao.
And they're off in the affectionately. Shea Jolie and Penwith strike out for the lead. Those two are heads apart. Belle Gallanty on the outside. And moving up towards the rail is Simply Spectacular as the field goes into the clubhouse turn. Shea Jolie, Penwith, they are heads apart, and Belle Gallanty is right there on the outside. Simply Spectacular just in behind, racing in fourth. A break of almost 3 to Mylita running in fifth. And divided attention next in sixth. Agawa is at the rail in seventh, and America, the early trailer, in eighth. The field has straightened away and is heading up the backstretch. Penwith with the lead here by a length over the big favorite Belle Gallanty. Shea Jolie is now back running in third, and Simply Spectacular is fourth. Mylita on the outside in fifth, and a gap of a length and a half to Agawa, and divided attention. America still trails the quarter 23-4, the half mile in 47-4. Penwith holding on to the lead as they begin the run around the far turn. Penwith, the lead is now a half length as Belle Gallanty inches closer in second. Simply Spectacular is on the outside of Shea Jolie. Farther back, it's divided attention and America, then Agawa. They're at the quarter pole. Penwith is still in front. Penwith with the lead by a length and a half over Belle Gallanty. Shea Jolie is down at the rail. America now makes her move out in the middle of the track as they pass the 8th pole. It's Penwith with a 3-length lead. America coming at her now. Penwith trying to hold on. America on the outside. It's going to be tight. It's a photo finish in the New Year's Day feature. Did America get there, or did Penwith hold on?
Belle Gallanty, the big Grade 1 winner, laboring in mid-stretch. Penwith, swishing her tails, got the lead, and America from the far outside was on the scene late.
America looked great in the paddock, and I think she's a filly that's improved, and she's 2 for 2 now on the inner track. You go back and look at Belle Gallanty's record on the inner track. It's not so good. And when she was on the hard chase from the outside, you know she's not that comfortable in that position. You knew she was in deep water
and
early.
She's been an all-or-nothing kind of horse. Now, granted, she faced much better second half of 2014 with upset Princess of Silmar in the Delaware Handicap, defeated Stop Charging Marie in the Beldane. You did wonder going in, A, was she a little overbet at 3-5 or 1-2, and B, judging from Rudy Rodriguez's pre-race comments to Dave Grenning, how tight do they have the screws? She was empty. We'll talk about the race, though, and its wake in a few moments after we get your interview, your post-race, in fact, out of the way with winning rider Junior Alvarado.
Junior, America looked like she struggled a little bit around the turn, but when she got in the stretch, she really kicked hard.
Yeah, I mean, I rode it, a few times already. I won 3 times this time now. And yeah, she's a filly, she kind of like lose a little bit of position every time we get to the half of my pole, she kind of like lose action and by the turn. But I mean, today actually it wasn't as bad as actually is before, sometimes before. And I mean, turning from home and switch lead, I mean, I didn't know if I would have won, but I knew she would like give me that nice kick at the end. And I mean, we got lucky that, we get there at the wire right on time.
Well, it was very close, and watching it, I wasn't sure who won. Were you sure you got there?
No, I actually, like I said, as soon as probably past the 16th pole, I kind of put my head down and just try to keep riding hard to keep it, like focused to get to the wire. But I mean, I definitely didn't know if I win or not.
Well, you got there. I was thinking about you the other day, coming off of injury. You're riding really well. Is it difficult to maintain your fitness level when you have an injury like that?
Yes, I mean, definitely. I went in the morning, work out, try to get fit. But I mean, it's never the same when you get in a horse in the race. It's a completely different level. I got tired, the first 3 days, I got really tired. But I mean, my agent, he's been doing a great job putting me in a live horses, make it a little more easy to. Okay.
Well, a healthy, happy 2015.
Thanks, Rach. Same to you. Thanks.
And that agent, Mike Solito, has gotten Junior Alvarado in with the Belmont stable. Leanna Williford, Belmont's New York assistant, doing an outstanding job with that crew over at Belmont Park. And you had to be happy for Junior, considering how snake-bitten he's been.
Well, you think you go back breaking his ankle last year and then getting injured again now with his vertebrae recently, and then yesterday coming off horse leaving the gate, and he kind of got brushed with the horse's hind leg. You feel bad for a guy when he has to go through these things, but you like when you see them come back winning and it doesn't seem to affect him. So hopefully Junior stays healthy, has a great 2015.
Very enthusiastic and a good job all around. Bobby Flay, the winning owner and breeder of America. Do you like that he's a high-profile, well-known owner and breeder involved with this filly?
Well, I think that's what our game needs more of. I think people see somebody like Bobby Flay with his celebrity status so heavily involved in thoroughbred racing, they think, that's cool. That's something I want to check out. I want to be involved in, and I think we need more people like him to participate.
And don't forget, he's got Dame Dorothy as well, Bernardini, 4-year-old filly with Todd Pletcher. The future 2015 could be pretty bright on the racetrack for Bobby Flay's older fillies and mares as we get it back to Johnny I for the call of Thursday's 5th race.
And the Roth Medaglia d'Argento stumbled a bit at the start. 100 Acre Wood is out for the lead with Sun and Moon in second, and on the outside is the favorite Wavell Avenue. Down at the rail is Lucky Nancy E. Into the clubhouse turn. Wavell Avenue's on the outside. Sun and Moon's in between horses. 100 Acre Wood is down at the rail. Three of them right together up front. Lucky Nancy E. sits right behind in fourth. Then it's the gray, Ginny's Gray, racing in fifth. Medaglia d'Argento in sixth. Length and a half to Bounty Pink in seventh. At the back are Rock Me Mama and Lemon Song. And the opening quarter mile was running 23 and 4/5 seconds. And they're midway up the backstretch. 100 Acre Wood leads by a head with Sun and Moon pressing that pace in second and Wavell Avenue in the clear on the outside in third. That's Lucky Nancy E. and Ginny's Gray right together fourth and fifth. Bounty Pink, Medaglia d'Argento are heads apart. Rock Me Mama. And farther back is Lemon Song. The half in 47 and 1. Wavell Avenue makes her move now on the outside, and Ginny's Gray follows that one. Wavell Avenue has the lead here. Sun and Moon is back running in second. Ginny's Gray on the outside. Then Lucky Nancy E. Bounty Pink is fifth as the field comes into the stretch. Wavell Avenue in front by almost 4. Ginny's Gray is second. Then it's Lucky Nancy E. and Bounty Pink. Wavell Avenue in front. It's Wavell Avenue by 5. Ginny's Gray trying to hold on to second. Bounty Pink moves up on the outside. But Wavell Avenue, the clear-cut winner here. And it's a photo for second between Ginny's Gray and Bounty.
Well, Chad Brown's barn won't take the duck for 2015. They're in the winner's circle with Wavell Avenue, who is really good taking today's bet.
I don't think they were too concerned, even if they didn't win today, but Wavell Avenue was much the best. She kind of middle moved around the far turn and continued on resolutely. This is a filly that figured out the game. It took her 2 starts, but she's kind of got it under control now.
Owner Michael Dubb dangled her for $40,000 in a maiden claimer at Belmont. She won that race by about 20 lengths with a buyer of 80 or so, and since has won 2 consecutive races, overcame a track bias here, Cigar Mile Day, and crushed the field chasing 3 wide. She is a filly in Ontario bred that I think has a future, and in our future, a lot more Aqueduct Insider on this New Year's Day edition on MSG+. Stay tuned. Our neighbor, not too far off in the distance, the Empire State Building. Of course, we are not too far from Times Square, the big New Year's Eve celebrations last night in the Big Apple. And we are settled and nestled into South Ozone Park, Queens, a real sort of blue-collar neighborhood with a working-class ethos.
Absolutely, and it's interesting how close we are to Manhattan. Did you make it up to midnight to watch the ball drop?
10:45, out cold. Half hour
I
after
had
the
you
Ranger
beat
game. That was
10:15.
10:15.
Yeah.
Well, you were up tending to the farm animals, right?
Well, I went out, made sure the horses were good, walked my dogs,
Right.
and I went to bed.
They don't sleep in on New Year's Day,
No,
right?
you still got to take care of them.
All right, good. We're glad you made it down, all the way down, 100 miles or so from your place up north, and we get back to Johnny I for the call of Thursday's 8th race.
And they're off. La Bella Valeria out for the lead by leaps and bounds. Came away racing in second. All Mine Tonight is at the rail in third. Henry's Gal now moving up into fourth. Shade Darby is fifth. Sky Saratoga runs in sixth. Then Penny Mine in seventh. Spin It to Win It is down at the rail in eighth. Jitney is ninth. And Run-a-Dub-Dub trails the field in 10th. La Bella Valeria on the outside. Here's Henry's Gal now moving up to challenge, and by leaps and bounds at the rail. The quarter 22 and 2/5 seconds. La Bella Valeria hounded by Henry's Gal. The two of them are heads apart for the lead. By leaps and bounds dropping back. All Mine Tonight is followed by Shade Darby as the field comes into the stretch, and La Bella Valeria gets clear. La Bella Valeria by 4 lengths. Down on the inside is Penny Mine, and on the outside, it's All Mine Tonight. La Bella Valeria is tiring. Penny Mine continues to gain. Here comes Penny Mine up the inside to take over and win it at a big price. Penny Mine.
Junior Alvarado, he's the star so far in this edition of Aqueduct Insider. Win number 2 today aboard the off-the-pace winner, Penny Mine.
And a really nice ride to rally this filly along the inside, coming from behind. Good to see Rick Schosberg win with this filly. He trained the mother, Pentatonic,
Yep,
who was grade 1 placed and a stakes winner. And it's nice when you see a trainer who's had siblings or parents of horses and get to train generations of the family.
And he does a good job. Rick won 2 races today. You'll see his dead heat win riding against, or at least competing against, Junior in race number 3. But Rick Schosberg, a very good trainer and the consummate professional. I mean, he's a guy that's been around the block in the winner's circle year after year.
Well, absolutely. Consistent, and he's a good horseman. His horses always look good. They run well. And more importantly, he's a New York Ranger fan.
Who's got to be happy. 9 out of their last 10. 2 points in all those 9 victories. Good stuff. We'll take on the Sabres Saturday at MSG. As we send it back upstairs to John and Brielle, it's the sensational 6 on January 1st. The calls are 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, and 9.
It is Gabby's Brown with the lead here. The lead's a length and a half over Your Turn. Nejma is gaining ground down at the rail. Coral Beach moving up on the outside. There's less than 1/8 of a mile to the finish. Here comes Coral Beach on the outside. Here comes Nejma down at the rail. Gabby's Brown has faded. They're coming down for the finish line, and Coral Beach wins the 2015 opener here at the Big A. Nejma, breach of duty. Ms. Eileen is the trailer. The field is in the stretch, and it is Slam Chowder in front, and in front by almost 3 lengths. Truth in the Lies runs second. She's Marvy is third. Lightning Lily on the outside of Noon Sermon as they come down to the 16th pole, and Slam Chowder has built a 4.5 length lead. She's Marvy in second. Slam Chowder. Jose Ortiz sweeps the double. Sky has quickly stopped and is back running in third, and now there's 3/16 to the wire. Sounds of Saratoga and American Mink, and they're heads apart for the lead as they pass the 8th pole. Sounds of Saratoga now in front. American Mink in second. Awesome Loot trying to get back in it in third as they come down for the wire. It's Sounds of Saratoga in front. Awesome Loot up on the outside. Photo finish. Sounds of Saratoga. Awesome Loot. Sway and Concealed is down at the rail as the field comes into the stretch. It's Mama Z, the one to catch, with Bridget Maloney on the outside in second. Mama Z in front, little more than a length. Bridget Maloney all out. Then Blue Ballerina. Our girl She Gone is putting in a late run. And then it's Vindication Spot in 5th. Mama Z out in the middle of the track. On the outside, here's Bridget Maloney. Bridget Maloney takes over and defeats Mama Z. Our girl She Gone was third. In the stretch, Peaceful Talk has now built a 5-length lead, now a 6-length lead over Mambo at the Gym. Peaceful Talk is pouring it on here. Peaceful Talk turns it into a runaway. Peaceful Talk's going to win by 10 lengths, maybe more. Mambo at the Gym holds on to second. Howell was third, and Von Frazen checked in fourth. In second, and then Who Dat Cat and Saratiago. Stolen Victory on the lead with 3/16 to the wire. Stolen Victory by 6. Jules and Rome in second, then Saratiago. Who Dat Cat on the outside is Twin Lights with Broken Border. A runaway winner here, and it's jockey Jose Ortiz. He had 4 wins yesterday. It's another 4-bagger today. Stolen Victory takes the finale. Jules and Rome second, Saratiago.
Cops aren't looking for anybody in the last race. That was not a stolen victory, an earned victory out of that filly by Escondrea for Gary Contessa, who for the second consecutive card won the day's nightcap, hot rodding Jose Ortiz, who we'll talk about in a few moments. In fact, let's go back with the Frost Giant New York bred standout on this January 1st, 2015, and we'll look at Jose Ortiz's second win on the day, riding the unbeaten Grand Slam filly, Slam Chowder. What a name in race 2.
Very cleverly named for her pedigree, and she is 2 for 2 now. And very smart, Eddie Keneally got her eligible for the starter allowances by running her for maiden 40 first time out, where she dominated, came back with another strong performance today. A filly that's got a lot of speed and enjoyed the inner track.
And they attacked her early. They went after her. The pace was fast. She did not walk the dog, and she dominated the competition in race number 2. Much like a number of the Frost Giant offspring and progeny, give Eric Bishop an email or a phone call. The 2015 breeding season set to get underway. Frost Giant standing at Keen Stud. We've talked quite a bit about Jose Ortiz and Junior Alvarado on this show. Well, for the second consecutive card, Mig, back-to-back 4-win days.
Yeah, 8 wins in 2 days. The size of these purses gave himself a belated Christmas present, and he's certainly riding in very confident form.
Pretty picture as the sun sets. It's starting to get dark outside right around dusk, and you can see the Big A in all its glory lit up in the background. Jose Ortiz pulling away in the rider standings. Plenty of racing, of course, left to be had on the inner track, but he's 12 in front of Manny Franco. His brother, Erod Ortiz, who clinched the New York riding title for 2014, is sitting in third. How about Gary Gullo? How about the streak he's on?
Yeah, all of his horses are running great, and they look tremendous on the racetrack. They're running to their looks, and nice to see Gary, a guy who's always been a very good horseman, get rewarded for his efforts.
7 for his last 21 over the last 30 days here at Aqueduct as we check out the owner standings with the first of many cards to be run here at the Big A in 2015. Well, we've got a 2-way tie for first and 2 high-profile owners at that.
Looking at those names, it feels like I've got deja vu all over again.
Little toga?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll send it to break. We have our Friday preview, a pick 6 carryover, by the way, of $27,000 after we get the claims out of the way. Breach of Duty, who didn't take much money in the second until late and did not run well. A 2-way shake claim by John Toscano. Awesome loot in that dead heat victory actually claimed away from Rick Schosberg.
Yeah, Jeremiah Englehart, another one of our young gun trainers who's just had a terrific year as well.
And Linda Rice does some fine work in the claim box, taking Ginny's Gray out of race number 5 against Wavell Avenue as we have the Friday preview and the pick 6 carryover of more than $27,000. January 2nd looming in the air here at Aqueduct. The press box upstairs, Equestris, which at one time was New York City's biggest restaurant. Place is humongous. Place will be rocking over the weekend. We've got stakes lined up over the next few cards, including the Jerome. It's the Mig. It's Jason. Happy New Year to all of you out there. And no rest for the weary. We get right back at it, Mig. 12:25 first race post tomorrow and a Friday card anchored by the Cappy Capicella for 3-year-old sprinters.
Yeah, it's a good solid field, some very nice horses, and we're looking at Majestic Affair, who winds up second here at Laurel. I like this horse a lot. I think he's a horse that's very versatile. He has speed, but he doesn't need to go to the lead, and I think he's going to enjoy the 6 furlongs on the inner track.
Smart picking this horse up. I don't know what they paid for him. Broke his maiden by a lot in July at Canterbury. Purchased privately, given to Chad Brown. The best is yet to come. a 5th time out for that son of majestic perfection, and a very mid-Atlantic flavor to this race as we look at another shipper in Joe Franklin for the always dangerous Kelly Green.
And I think this is your pacemaker. Joe Franklin's got Chucky Lopez, who loves to be on the engine. He gets post one. He's got a lot of natural speed. And he won pretty easily, easier than the margin of victory, I think, will lead you to believe at Penn National. And obviously, I don't know what he was beaten, but this is a fast colt.
Kelly Green pretty good with those 3-year-old sprinters. Ship disturber for Rick Violet. Speaking of guys that are good with precocious horses, 2nd time out with an 81 buyer in this debut.
Yeah, very strong in his debut. Took some early heat, kept going, and he's going to have to be a part of the pace too, but he's lucky that Joe Franklin's drawn to his inside Jason, because it kind of gives him the opportunity maybe to follow him a little ways.
Just a field of 5, but a solid field at that. The main contenders are all pretty good and have a right to be serious sprinting 3-year-olds and maybe more as 2015 progresses. And we head to race number 8, the opening leg of the late double. Nice group of older fillies and mares in this non-winners of one allowance. True Romance is the horse to beat, dropping out of a tough trip in the safely kept.
Tough trip, really middle moved, wide around the turn, made this big bold run, and had a right to just tire a little bit late. I think the turn back for her as well should be a benefit to her, and hopefully she gets a little bit of a better trip.
Dropping out of a 14-horse field, and a good field at that. That included Shea Jolie, who was 2nd in the Comely, didn't run that well earlier in the afternoon in the Affectionately, but this was a solid field against True Romance, who goes out for Tim Hills and does get a rider change to Manny Franco. Another contender, Killaday, who's in the mix, and Killaday will be coming back off a long layoff for Dominic Schettino. Her last race, St. Patty's Day, March 17th, a tough loss against the one-time promising Our Amazing Rose.
Yeah, and a filly that possesses a lot of speed. Probably be difficult for her off the layoff with her style. I think it's harder on speed horses coming off the layoff because they have to run more of the race, harder, longer. So I think it's going to be a race maybe we see if she comes back the same.
She does have hot riding Jose Ortiz, who's looking for his 9th win, entering Friday's card with the first race post at 12:25, the pick 6 carryover, and potential singles in races 5 and 6 as we send it to Andy and Maggie.
Friday's 5th race is one of those races you look through and you think, it's very hard to like anybody in this race. And those are the kind of races that you just want to hunt for a price. Because if you feel that way about the short-priced horses, why shouldn't you be looking for somebody who's a bit of a price? Well, the 9 Penthouse Party, finally the connections are dropping her down to the bottom, basically, where she belongs. They've been running her in one race after another where she is simply over her head. She fits against these horses if she can run back to any number of her races. Penthouse Party, despite her outside post, can get the money at a very fair price in the 5th race on Friday as we head out to Maggie.
Thanks, Andy. Well, this Paddock Insider has a little bit of a personal twist as we take a look at race number 6. It is a maiden special weight for the New York-bred 3-year-old boys going 6 furlongs. Rick Violet will send out Deficit Hawk, and going back to the Fasig-Tipton March sale, I was down there and really fell in love with this horse, who was co-signed by Nick DeMerick, and he decided not to sell him due to lack of interest, really, and tried to work out a deal. My fiance Tom Morley did, but they kind of wanted a bit for this horse, understandably so, but I really, really liked him as a physical. And 2, he's a half-to-hot rendezvous, a nice filly running around here for Gary Contessa. And so with that in mind, plus Rick Violet in her corner, who's deadly with his first-time starters, it's all Deficit Hawk for tomorrow's Paddock Insider. Guys?
Fastest 30 minutes in all thoroughbred racing. There's one hot rider in Jose Ortiz. We say Happy New Year to everybody out there. For the Mig and myself, thanks for tuning in, and have a pleasant good evening.